Welcome back to our channel here at JL Productions. We'd like to introduce our new video series, Opposing Viewpoints.
So basically, Jordan and I don't agree on everything.
Actually, most of the time, we don't.
So with these videos, you'll get to see us disagree on things.
In this series, we'll be talking about and explaining our different viewpoints on specific anime series, different genres, and current weeb news.
And to start off the series, we'll be discussing a genre anime. Drumroll please. The harem genre.
So harem is usually described as a genre in anime and manga where there is an emphasis on polygamous relationships with the protagonist surrounded by 3 or more characters who are all a source of love interest. The term harem originated from the Arabic meaning prohibited place, sanctuary, or women's quarters.
One of the first harem series that defined this genre early on was Tenchi Muyo, a series that came out in 1995 about a young 17-year-old boy who joins up with a group of space pirates that, you guessed it, all fall in love with him. Honestly, don't know if this is true, just guessing here. Though it was not uncommon at the same time in many works for a popular guy to be chased by many women, harem series usually attempt to incorporate romance into the spiel.
Harem series will commonly feature the recurring useless protagonist trope, where seemingly worthless protagonists, hidden virtues, somehow win over all the waifus. This trend of useless protagonists became more frequent after the series Love Hina came out in 2000. And Love Hina, our main character, is a young, nerdy man with glasses who appears to have no charming qualities at all. But then somehow charms the ever-loving shit out of the female cast. Another one of the most notable uses of this trope is the series The World God Only Knows.
If I had a harem, my waifus would have to be Yoko, Kallen, and Asuka. Why do you like the harem genre, Jordan?
Well, I find the harem genre appealing because it's a whole different style of genre that is unique to anime and manga. When this genre is used correctly, it can show multiple different sides to events and provide a unique look into different characters' viewpoints of the events playing out. When it's done correctly, it can be entertaining and extremely fun to watch. And even if it isn't done correctly, the interactions between the characters will usually be extremely funny. In my opinion, this genre is not one that takes itself too seriously, and neither should you, because you'll ruin what this genre is all about. Having fun with ridiculous and huge cast of characters. Why don't you like the harem genre, Leaf?
Well, I haven't been a big fan of the harem genre for a long time now. When I was really young, though, Love Hina was one of the first series I'd seen. At the time, I loved it. My imagination was entangled with the idea of a bunch of hot-ass waifus trying to win me over with their scandalous bodies. But after a couple years, I found out different ways to satisfy my fantasy boner in the form of the Truest Harem series, also known as Bible Black. So as I got older, my tastes sort of morphed the pretentious elitist taste it is now. I began to view the same hot-ass waifus as generic one-dimensional characters whose only purpose was to be in some sort of forced romantic relationship with the protagonist. Then, I became aware that the overused, worthless protagonist trope was pandering to viewers by giving them something to relate to in a romantic fantasy. The harem genre is one of fan service and pandering, reusing the same cliché scenarios and melodramatic redundant episodes while entertaining viewers with different comedic skits and banter. It's usually like watching a rom-com, and that's fine if I'm trying to Netflix and chill, but otherwise it just doesn't capture my interest anymore, so I tend to steer clear from the genre.
So what harem series would you recommend, Leaf?
One of the few harem series that I have seen and think is a rare exception to the harem genre, if you can even refer to it as a harem anime, would be White Album 2. It's a dramatic story of 3 friends in a light music club together that finds themselves in an extremely complicated love triangle. And another one, and I already know I'm going to get shit for recommending this series, but it has to be School Days. Honestly, I don't even think this is a good show, or even that good of a recommendation, but if you don't like harems like myself, you might find this deconstruction of a harem as a very different look into the genre. What harem series would you recommend, Jordan?
Well, I would recommend the Monogatari series. Now, the Monogatari series is one of my favorite series by far, and is a harem-filled anime with mystery and supernatural elements. There's a well-rounded cast of extremely unique characters, and they encounter some very bizarre scenarios. Now, this series is definitely as far from generic as can be, and if we know one thing about the studio that's producing it, Shaft, it's that they do a very original and unique style in regards to anime. And another one would be High School DxD. Now, this is a harem series where we find ourselves in a very familiar setting, as the series name implies, high school. But this isn't your typical high school harem, because one day the protagonist Issei, who is a pervert that dreams of having his own harem one day, go figure, is killed by an angel and then revived by his fellow high school student and top class devil Rias Gimori, who has a nice big personality. After being revived, Issei must now serve Rias as one of her pawns and fight alongside her and his newfound comrades. This series hardly takes itself too seriously, and there's plenty of fan service and hilarious moments that make this an overall entertaining show. Even though I'm sure you've heard of these series or seen them yourself, I'd also like to recommend another two of my favorite series, Kanon and Clannad. Both are series made by the famous Key, who has created other great series such as Angel Beats and Little Busters. So what do we agree on?
I have no fucking clue. Well, actually, Jordan and I both agree that the harem genre shouldn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah, because 90% of the time the series is joking around, and then they'll force melodrama, in which sometimes comes off as cliche and generic.
Also, I'd like to give my approval for Jordan's recommendations of Clannad and the Monogatari series, because I believe those series are both unique exceptions for the harem genre.
Another thing me and Leaf can agree on is that anime, no matter what kind of genre or what kind of subgenre, should just be entertaining and fun to watch. And then at the end of the day, that's what matters the most.
That is what matters the most.
Also, waifus.
The waifus.
Thank you guys for watching our first video in this new series. Let us know what you want to see more of it in the comments.
Also, if you want to, wink wink, nudge nudge, thumbs up the video, and if you think we're the next up-and-coming Mr. Anime, then give us a subscribe.
Until next time.
We're planning something.